Hey, welcome to this video about how to maintain your sexual relationship alive, how to maintain the passion, how to maintain the desire. If you've been in a long-term relationship before, you know that this is probably one of the most important videos, how difficult it is to maintain that spark, to maintain that fun, that desire, how to maintain that relationship going. Now, I've talked about the difference between men and women in some of the videos, in the previous videos, and as I mentioned before, we get aroused differently. We need to find that balance. We need to find that way that both in the couple are satisfied sexually. And we know women are more emotional, men are more visual. We get men most of the time have more sex drive than women in general. I'm talking in general. And in this video, I want to give you some of the reasons why the desire and the passion sort of like change throughout time, and I'm going to give you some things that you can do to actually maintain it alive, because it's very important to know what you can do. The thing is that one of the most important things is that we cannot blame the other person. We have a tendency of blaming the other person for not having enough sex. For example, in a couple where he maybe is not happy with the times they have sex, he blames the girl or the woman, and vice versa. It can be either way. We need to stop blaming each other. If we come to solve this problem, if you're in that problem at the moment, if you don't have that problem yet, make sure you listen to the video so you don't fall into this problem. Because it's something that every single couple that goes for a long period of time hits at one point, about what do we do with our relationship, what's happening. That's normal, because sex life, it's like this. I've mentioned this before, but you know, our life is like this. It's never the same. We change and go up and down. We have better times, we have worse times. Life goes like this, and we need to understand that as well. So it's a matter of having a perspective and a matter of knowing exactly what you feel for the other person, know that that foundation is strong and that you're willing to work for it. So the first thing, why passion and desire go away. And now I'm going to tell you something which might sound strange to you, but passion and desire don't go away. They never go away. Because the thing is that after a few years of being together, you know, we start to compare ourselves to at the beginning of our relationship. And that's a big mistake, because of course, if you compare it to that, it fades away, yes. But the fact is that the first 2 years of a relationship, what you're experiencing is not real. You're drugged by dopamine. You're drugged and you don't know exactly what you're doing. You are high on everything. You are high on everything. You're not being yourself, really. It's like being drugged. It's like being on some type of drug or some type of substance that makes you feel way up here. You want to have sex all the time. You want to be with that person all the time. You don't see anything of that person. You don't see the real person because you just want to have sex and want to be with that person, and you justify anything that person does. But this is okay. This is the process of life. It's the way our brain works to make us reproduce ourselves as a species. I've talked about this in videos before. So we are not ourselves. So of course, with time, with the years, this dopamine high is going to start going down. It will start going down. And we will go back to where we were. So we were here, we go all the way up, and then we go down again to where we were. We come back to normal. So we go back to normal. So when we go down and we think, oh, the passion is gone, the desire is gone, what's happening? I don't love this person anymore. When that happens, you're normal. You're back to normal. You just have to know it. And you have to now is the time to see, well, do I love that person? Do I have a purpose with that person? Do I want to keep on going with this person? Do we have something in common? Do we want a life project together? These things start to hit. And it's when oxytocin really kicks in terms of making you bond together. So your relationship goes from that high, real high, which is not real, it's not going to come back, it will not come back. That will not come back. You're up there and you go down and you go back to normal. And now it's time to develop a relationship, to start a relationship from a different perspective, from a point where you're yourself again, you're not don't have any of these substances in your brain, like an excess of these substances in your brain, and you can start for real. So at this time we have to really evaluate our life with that person. Evaluate our feelings, our emotions, what we feel for that person. Do we actually have the same interest? Do we actually fall on together well? Do I want to spend the rest of my life? It doesn't have to be the rest of your life, but many years together. Do I want to start something with this person? This is what you start to think about. And now you're seeing the real person, because that person is also, at this moment, the person is not on drugs anymore either. So you're both now normal. So now you start to behave like you are, the person that you really are. And the desire, the sex desire that you have at this time is your actual real sex desire. That's how much you like to have sex. That's how much you feel having sex with that person. That's the real thing. The beginning was not real. So at this time, oxytocin has sunk in. If oxytocin doesn't really hit you here, if you don't do the things that you have to do to get oxytocin flowing, the things like cuddling, things like doing romantic things, okay, so that you understand that. If you don't do that, the relationship is gone. You need that oxytocin flowing in order to make that relationship go, bond together at the deeper level. So how do you do that? Well, there's two things that must be present. These two things have to be there in order for this relationship to grow, to keep going, okay? And that is love and attraction. Love and attraction. You cannot make that happen. You cannot make me love you or be attracted to you. You cannot do that. You cannot work on it. It's something that comes from the inside. It's something that spontaneously comes out. I am attracted to you or I'm not. It's not like I can work on it and I'm going to see if I can get attracted to you. It's not going to happen. Either I'm attracted or not. And either I love you or I don't love you. You cannot buy any of these two. So if any of the two are not there, the relationship will probably not go. Because those two must be. The attraction has to be there because if you want that sex life to keep going, there must be attraction. Not only love, not only that I love this person, I care for this person. No, you have to also be attracted physically, emotionally, and mentally to that person. You have to be attracted. You must be attracted to that person. And then, of course, you have to love that person. And loving that person means accepting that person the way he or she is. Here's what that moment of time, when you have been together for a few years maybe, it depends on the couple. I've said 2 years, but it can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, 2 years maximum normally. This is the time where you say, okay, do I accept this person the way this person is? Do I like his good things and his not so good things that I don't like so much? Am I gonna accept this person the way he or she is? Do I love the person? I'm not going to try to change that person. This is the time to decide that. And it's the time, more than decide, is to actually acknowledge if you actually feel that for that person. Because if those two are not, attraction and love, this is what I'm just telling you, and these two are not there, it's very difficult that this can go on. Almost impossible. So those two things you must know, you must consider, you must think, you must evaluate, you must meditate whether they're there or not. And that comes from here. That is something that doesn't come from your brain, it's something you have to feel. Okay, you have to feel it. You cannot think it. You have to feel that. How do you maintain that relationship alive? Because once you've actually acknowledged whether there's love and there's attraction and whether there's that connection that wants you to keep going, that's worth for you, that you feel like you really want to be with that person, you have connected, you have that oxytocin flowing in your body and you feel that connection with that person. Now comes the most important part, and that's if you want the desire and the passion to stay alive, you must work. You see, when we see movies and they end up when they're in the high, when they're, at the moment of the best moment, okay, after we get married. Now, that's when work starts. And relationships must be worked. You cannot just say, okay, I fell in love and now I'm going to sit and let it go. It doesn't work like that. It's like buying a plant and thinking that because you bought the plant, it's going to stay green forever. If you don't irrigate that plant, it will not live. Same thing with relationships. If you don't irrigate your relationship, if you not work on it, it will die. So desire and passion are not things they just fall from the sky. Desire and passion, you work on them. You make them happen. Sexual energy, it's created. It doesn't fall from the sky. You must generate that energy. You must generate that passion, and you must generate that desire. This is how it works. You must work on it every day of your life. If this is sounding strange to you, this is the way it works. So you must be ready for that. That doesn't mean that you have to think about work in a bad way. This is not bad. This is actually good. It's a good work. It's something that you hopefully like to do. If you're with a person that you love, you will love to work on that person, work on that relationship. It's something that you will do with great fun and a lot of joy. But remember that you have to work on it. It's not like you can just sit there. There's some things that you have to really sort of like see how they work in terms of sex drive, because at the beginning maybe the sex drive is very even, but once the dopamine is gone, maybe there's one that has more sex drive than the other, okay? And you have to find out that balance and accept that balance as well, because it's very difficult that it's always going to be the same. Normally there's one that has more than the other. Now here, the one that has more has to accept it, and also has to work on his energies and work on maybe his masturbation frequency and see how you can adjust. Not every relationship is the same, so you need to find that adjustment on sex drives and on sex desires and things like that, because not everyone has the same. So this is one of the things that you have to see, and this is a path, okay? This is something that you see on the way. You cannot just decide it one day. You just see how it works, and you can talk about it and say, hey, do you feel like you're going to see how much the other person likes to have sex really when these years have gone by. Most important is to talk about it, okay? And say, if you're not happy, to say it. Because the person who has a lower sex drive can also work on having more sex drive. You can do that as well. So it's a matter of communication. You have to talk a lot about it and see how you can balance that out. Now, working on the relationship. First thing that most couples do, and has to do with the attraction that I was telling you before, people stop taking care of themselves physically. Also spiritually, but physically. When you stop taking care of yourself physically, it's a big problem. You cannot do it, not only for the other person, but also for yourself. But you see, I get married and I get fat. This is the biggest mistake. This is really bad, because attraction has a lot to do with the physical attraction. When I see that person, I want to be attracted to that person. If the person becomes really fat, I'm not saying that appearance is everything, but if I meet you and I fall in love with you and you're thin, and then suddenly you're a big, thick man or a thick woman, maybe that attraction starts to fade away, and that's normal. That's normal. So, and I don't say that you do it for the other person, because that's not going to hold. You have to do it for yourself, loving yourself, because if you love yourself, people are going to love you. So, first thing, work on your fitness. You must stay fit and in shape. Very, very important. Don't take anything for granted. Don't think that the other person is always going to be attracted to you. Not. You will, of course, change with time. We all will change. We do change. But one thing is changing, one thing is not taking care of yourself. You can change. I have gray hair now. That's okay. But I'm taking care of myself. I'm always the best I can be. That's the main phrase here. Always stay as good as you can be. Always. Give 100% of yourself. The second thing is that you have to generate sexual energy. Sexual energy is generated, as I said before. You must generate it. And you generate it by doing things that will make you want to have sex. Do you remember that I was talking about dopamine at the beginning? Okay, what you want to do in terms of chemistry, you want to have hits of dopamine in your brain that will create that sexual energy, that will make you want to have sex. Because that dopamine, what made you want to have sex all the time, the focus on sex, you want to have shots of dopamine all the time. And that means doing things that can actually activate that and activate your sexual energy. You generate the energy. The energy is not going to fall from the sky, as I said before. And you might say, okay, Charlie, yes, but once I've had sex with the same person over and over and over again, how do I get excited about it again? Because we have all experienced that. We have all experienced, hey, if I have sex with the same person every time, it's like we repeat ourselves, and it's difficult to get that dopamine, that new thing, that, wow, I get excited again. Well, I'm going to put you a comparison, okay? Because many people are very, very focused on that, and they think they have to have different people to have sex so that they get excited. I have something new, yes, I get excited. And yes, of course, if you're having sex with one person and suddenly a new person comes in, you're going to get excited because it's new. Yes, it's like everything else in life. But that's going to happen with that person again and again and again and again. It's not going to stop. It's not like that new person is going to stay there forever. No, that will happen with that new person as well. I like to compare this with food. I do a lot of comparisons with food, as you can see, but let's put spaghetti with it very basic. You can have spaghetti every day, but you can put all kinds of sauces in the spaghetti. So the spaghetti, the foundation, the main ingredient is always the same, but you can put different sauces, different tastes, different flavors that will make it different every day. Same thing with sex. You will have the same partner every day, the base is the same person, but you can do things to make it different every time. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way I encourage you to see it as well. So you can do things to make it different every time. And yes, you might repeat every now and then, because like in spaghetti, you don't have 1,000 sauces to change every day. In sex, you might repeat things every now and then, but if you have enough times where it's different, you will stay motivated. You will love to repeat it. It doesn't matter if you repeat it all the time. And the good thing is that you're going to connect more and more and more, and that connection it's going to make it have meaning, and it's going to actually bond you emotionally, which at the end, I've talked about this in other videos, but that emotional bonding is what's going to make it even better and better. So you can stay with the same person all your life if you connect at that emotional level, and if you don't repeat the same thing every day. Don't repeat the sauce every day, change sauces, and things will go good. But you need to work on it. You need to find the different sauce that you want to put every day. You need to find it, you need to work on it. You need to make it happen. You need to create, you need to generate that sexual energy, that sexual desire, that passion, because passion is generated. The passion comes from within. You have to generate that passion by doing what you like, by enjoying what you do. That's how it works. So things you can do to maintain it alive. Well, it's very basic. Get out of the routine. Don't do the same things every day. Because what's going to happen if you get out of the routine, if you do something different, that's going to create that dopamine high, okay? For example, Monday, hey honey, let's go out for dinner. You take your wife out for dinner, or the wife can take the guy, it doesn't matter. You do something different, and you're like, wow, and you have sex on Monday. After that dinner, after that date, you go and have sex on Monday. That's different. That's going to actually be a surprise. Because surprise is what hits that dopamine. It's going to make you really, wow, what's happening? Find things to do that will get you out of the routine. Go out on a trip. Go out on a weekend out in the mountains to a cabin. Go on a trip somewhere you have never been, to a different city. Have sex in different places. Use sex toys. Buy sex toys. Do different things, enjoy, talk about fantasies and say, okay, let's do this one this week. Find the moments to do it. Make sure you block time every week to have sex somehow, whatever you want to do, and be creative, do different things. Both have to alternate. Not only, one thing that happens many times is that one person expects the other person to actually think all these things out. Because normally there's one that's more creative than the other. Well, that's not right. Both of you have to actually work on it. You can actually agree 1 week one week the other, however you want to do it. It's a good way to do it. Is say, hey, this week is yours, you decide what we do. And that makes it like a game, like see what she does or what he does. But find things to do. As I said, sex toys, fantasies, going on trips, getting out of the routine, having sex on the sofa in the afternoon. I don't know, whatever you want to do it. Because you want to create uncertainty. You want to create that feeling of uncertainty, of surprise that hits you with the dopamine and makes you want to be like, whoa, what's going to happen? Wow, that was exciting. Something new is always exciting. When you get something, a present, or when you get something new, it's exciting. And that's what you want to try to make. And it will come to a point where you repeat things, of course. A lifelong relationship is long. Also, you will see that as life goes on, things will change as well. That's why communication is so important. Things will change throughout your life, and priorities change, and the way you see things change, and you have to grow together. This is one other thing that you must actually make sure that you grow together. That doesn't mean that you have to like the same things and that you have to be the same, but you need to talk about if you're growing together. Sometimes you grow like this and then you separate because one is here and the other one is there. So you need to talk a lot about how to grow together, because life will be changing all the time. And there's going to be, as I said, peaks and lows. It's going to be like that. If you're having a great time in your life and everything is going well, you're going to be there. But maybe you have a couple of years where maybe your job is not so good. Maybe one of your parents dies, a family problem. I don't know. These things affect us. We are emotional beings, so everything affects us. So working on the relationship is a continuous thing, is all the time, making sure that you are growing together, that you have a purpose together, that you want to go somewhere together. This is something that many couples don't talk, and this is going to help you maintain your sex life alive. It may sound a bit strange for you. Maybe you're saying, well, we're talking about sex. Yes, but this purpose is going to maintain that sexuality alive. Because if not, you're going to lose interest in the other person. And if you lose interest in the person, no matter how many things you do, if you lose interest in the person, it's going to die. It's going to die. We're not prepared for that. We are not going to stay in the high dopamine state that we do when we fall in love the rest of our lives. It's impossible. And if you're one of those people that are looking for that all the time, like, okay, once it's over, I'll go for another one, you're going to be like that the rest of your life, because no person is going to stay like that with you forever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, maintaining a sexual relationship with desire and passion, it's work. It's a challenge. It's fun. It's good. It's great, and it will make your life a lot better if you really do it like that. And it's very exciting. It's very exciting. So I encourage you to try it, because it's a fantastic thing to experience. And one last thing that I want to mention in this video. If you're in a situation where you have been together for a long period of time and you feel like your relationship is dead, that really there's no sex life, that you're really flat and you need to do something if you don't want everything to go bust, start very slow. Start the recovery very slow, especially if you've never been wild. If you've never been a wild couple, maybe you're in a situation where you've never been sort of like doing crazy things or doing fantasies and things like that, or if one of you has never been like that, it's very important to go very slow. Because, for example, like, let's say, okay, you now decide that you guys as a couple want to start doing things, or maybe one of you say, okay, I'm going to take the step forward and I'm going to start doing things, do things to make things happen and get that dopamine going and get that excitement going. If you, for example, have never done a threesome, not even ever spoke about doing a threesome, if you go to your girl, let's say you're a guy, and you go to your girl and say, hey, let's do a threesome or something wilder or something crazy, she might freak out. If you go right away and do that, she might say, whoa, what are you talking about? This, who are you? That's what's going to happen. She might actually freak out and actually reject that, because she's going to find it too aggressive. Do things like changing places of having sex, changing times, going on dates, and then start escalating that. Start escalating until you get to where you want to go. But but start very slow. This is very important. One other thing is that when you start the relationship at the beginning, actually when you're doing, when you're drugged in the dopamine state, how much sex you have at the beginning, what the sex drive and the sex frequency is at the beginning is going to set the pace for the whole relationship. So what happens is that if you two start at a very low rate, some people, maybe they don't have sex so often and they are like sort of like, okay, every now and then, or at the beginning you have more, but you don't have that much sex really. When that goes down, it really goes down as well. So it goes, if you're having sex 3 times a week, it will go really down. If you're having sex every day, it will go down less. And that was going to set the pace for the rest of the relationship. That's something that studies have actually shown, that couples that start very high, normally they maintain a much higher rate of frequency in sex than people who maybe have sex 1, 2, 3 times a week. At the beginning, I'm talking about, okay, when you're really a bit on high, on the love state. So this is it for this video. This is one of the most important videos in this course because it's really something that it's going to help you have very meaningful and long-term sexual relationships. I hope it serves you. I hope it gives you a different way or different perspective to see this and to address this issue, that you put in practice all the things that you just saw. And I wish you all the best, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.